they made it in a way that it was a lot of allegorical messages. So unless a person was so-called educated in the lands, they would be able to interpret this because they'll be going through it just like a Bible study, going word for word. But the commoners, if they got a hold of this, they wouldn't be able to interpret it because it was written in a way so that it was try to hide moral principles and practices that people can learn from to incorporate into their lives, but they wanted to get it to the elite. That's why the book used to be locked, because they didn't want slaves in this country.
Oh, they didn't want you to read.
And, peasants in other countries' name to get a hold of the information that was there that had a lot of moral values and examples of life situations. That's all the book is example of life situations. And if you know the story of that book, in that life situation, then when you see a situation, you know how it's going to turn out because you've already read it. Everything is in the book. Okay. That's why I say reading it or reading materials is very relevant to being able to understand what's going on today. Because when they say nothing is new is under the sun, what someone did is they tried to extract all of the scenarios that were related to these people they're talking about that somebody can use and learn from in their life. This is not all the stuff that was done by these people in this book. A lot of people think this book was it of life, but it's just small examples of different excerpts out of these people's lives that had relevant storyline and relevant learning information in it or stories from. You follow what I'm saying? And so those people who had the opportunity to have it, they were able to so-called be the elite, if you will. They knew what to do and what not to do. You know what I'm saying? What's right and what's not right. But they kept it away from the common person, and they didn't know. So they going around just doing any old crazy wild thing because they had no structure in their thinking. All this is structural for your thinking so you can know how to conduct yourself, how to treat people. You wonder how come this person is reaping so many benefits in life because they're conducting themselves from a guideline that's giving them some structure on how to engage with other people. How to live your life to be successful. So you had the stories of those who followed God, and you had the stories of those who didn't follow the God. So you read it in the book, you're going to know how that person's outcome is going to be because they're living that part of the book in their life. You feel what I'm saying? And so that's the relevance of Scripture. It's relevant, but I like how they've taken some of the new writings of the translation and made it to a way that young people ears can hear it. And it makes some sense because you had to just really just sit and be programmed prior to those change of writings into this type of language embraced your earlobe. Because we English, or not English, but American English speaking people, and then to have to listen to something that's a complete different dialect or dialogue or somewhere else, it messes your brain up unless you train your brain to accept it.
If you was reading this from, say, 18 years old to somebody that's 35, they wouldn't get it.
Wouldn't get it. We didn't get it. And like I said before, the only thing that people have grown to draw the strength from is similarity of sound. Like say for instance, you see the example of somebody ring the bell and then somebody get something, ring the bell, then someone gets something, when they're doing those type of experimentations. So that bell creates a stimuli that relates to this particular thing. So the same thing, hearing this version of Scripture read over different ways in church with the power of the pronunciation of it, the atmosphere that was uplifted at the time, then as you get to know that Scripture, when you hear it, it stimulates you to feel good about the time when you first heard it. And that's why the verses that out of this King James version have more of a inspirational sound to older people than young people.
Okay.
Because you're taking away that stimuli that they recognize that gives them that power that they felt the first time they heard it when they hear that Scripture again. So you can hear that, you know, the 23rd Psalm, you know what I'm saying? And you just get a certain feeling, even though it's read the way it's read.
Right.
You know.
I guess Psalm 20, I guess you can't go into the NIV, the Message Bible. With that, certain ones I wouldn't, but certain ones I will do with the NIV so they get a better understanding.
Yes, and it's for young folk for real.
Yeah, for real. I mean,
Young folk all day.
Yeah.
Whoever wrote that, that's what the intention was, and I believe it's a good intention. And I do believe those who are striving to be in ministry in any type of way should embrace that reading.
And I agree. Because
yes.
you get young people, they're like, well, they're going to be lost. And they're like, well, I'm not coming back to church no more because they don't want to feel stupid. I don't understand nothing that you're talking about. And nobody's not going to... A lot of older people don't even understand the key. They're in church. You're just in church. What are you really learning? What are you getting from it?